All right, this is a British dish that we used to eat a lot in Canada. It's fantastic. It's so much fun to eat. It's so delicious. And the name is fun. Bangers and mash. Bangers and mash with lashings of onion gravy. I just love gravy on my mashed potatoes, and then have these big fat sausages in here. Grab some of that potato with some of that gravy. Oh yeah. These are delicious pork sausages too. Of course, you can use any type of sausage. Well, you get a good fat sausage, and then you gotta cook them until they split open and bang on you. All right, let's go in the kitchen and make some of this right now. All right, so I've got all I need here for making our bangers and mash with lashings of onion gravy. First of all, the bangers, which is the sausages. I've got here pork sausages, 1 pound, 450 grams, nice plump sausages. We're gonna be cooking this for about 20 minutes because these are the uncooked variety. If you got the cooked ones, probably gonna go 20 minutes anyways because the onions and the gravy all has to cook for about that long. So, we've got 1 pound of those. Over here, I've got 2 onions, which have been thinly sliced. For the mash, 2 pounds or 900 grams of potatoes. Now, you could peel them if you want. I prefer to just scrub them well, and then I cut them into small pieces so that they'll cook well. It's up to you which way you like it. I find this is, well, for one thing, I'm lazy. I don't want to spend that much time peeling. The other thing is it gives kind of a rusticness to the mash. All right, so here we have, to go with the mash, 1/4 cup of butter, a 1/4 cup of milk, a 1/4 cup of flour, all easy to remember. And then also it's going to go in the mash is the 1/4 teaspoon of pepper and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. For the onion gravy, we have another 1/4 cup of butter. We have here 1 15-ounce can of beef stock or beef bouillon, whichever you have on hand, and 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, or sorry, Worcestershire, whatever, you know, the Worcester sauce, okay? All right, so I've got my water boiling here, a good amount of water, and as usual, when I'm cooking potatoes or I'm cooking pasta, I'm going to generously salt that. So just going to toss a handful of salt in there, and then in goes the potatoes. All right, those potatoes are going to cook for about 20 minutes. In the meantime, let's get the butter going in here. So grab one of these 1/4 cups of butter and fire that up on medium. Get that butter melting. All right, look at that. That butter is melted. I'm gonna bring that heat down just a little bit. That's pretty a high medium. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna toss in the bangers. Also, I'm gonna add in the onions. Oh man, overboard. All right. So let's get those back in there. All right. So what I'm going to do now is, it's going to take a little while to cook these. I'm going to do 20 minutes on this also. First thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put the lid on for a while so that we can just get that steaming and cooking, and not just browning. I want to make sure those sausages get cooked. Also, the onions get really soft. So what I'm going to do now, for 20 minutes, I'm going to cook it medium, just a little bit below medium, depending on how hot your medium is. And then keeping it covered, but every once in a while, I'm going to be turning the sausages around, moving those onions around so that it gets nice and evenly cooked. All right, let's come back in 20 minutes. Okay, so 20 minutes have gone by. I've just drained the potatoes. I'm going to put them into a bowl here. Nice and hot, nicely cooked. Get that off to one side. Let's have a look at those bangers. I've been stirring these around in here. So what we've got right now, look at them. The bangers have exploded. They've banged. They're nicely cooked. The onions are nice and they're getting soft. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to stir this flour in. Just a toss of pepper on here, a little salt on here. Mix that around in here. And then I just want to kind of sprinkle that flour all around. Get that in with the onions. So just kind of mix it around here. What I want to do is just want to cook that flour just a little bit. It's going to soak up some of that butter. And then it's just going to cook a little bit so we don't get raw flour taste in there. All right, so just get that going. And let that just cook a little bit for about a minute. We'll come back to that in a minute. In the meantime, let's get these mashing up. So in goes the butter. It's a 1/4 cup of butter, remember? We've got our potato masher here. Get that pushed down. Get that in there so that the hot potatoes can start melting that butter. Just break it up a little bit too. It just melts better if you kind of break it up a little bit. If you just leave it one big chunk, it takes forever. So there we go. Set that off to one side. Come back to these guys. Move this around a little bit. Look at that. These look absolutely delicious. All right, now in goes the bouillon and the Worcestershire sauce. I'm going to put that in with the bouillon. In this case, I've used a bouillon, or you can use, like I say, a beef stock. And then, oh, listen to that sizzle. Put that all in there. And we're going to cook this for about 5, 6, 7 minutes. It depends. What we want to do is we want to see this thicken up and become gravy. That's starting to already a little bit there because we've got a 1/4 cup of flour in here. Remember, so that's going to work with the butter, and then with the sauce that we just put in, or the liquids we put in here, and it's going to start cooking up and becoming a really nice, delicious gravy. So let's let that keep cooking. Let's get back over here. We should have melted. Oh yes, our butter's melted now. So then we can add in our 1/4 cup of milk. It's going to make it a lot easier to mash and give us a nice creamy mashed potatoes. So got our potato masher here. This is a beautiful potato masher I picked up in Switzerland many years ago. If you can find it, that is a good solid masher. A lot of them will start to bend from pushing down all the time. This thing is one solid piece of equipment. Found it in a little store in Davos. Don't know if I could ever replace it again or not. I'd have to go back to Davos and see if that store carried these. It is fantastic. That's looking great. See how I say about the peels? Give it that nice rustic look. All right, let's come back to this. Oh yes, look at that. That's becoming gravy. That is going to be absolutely fantastically delicious. All right, that's it. We can take that off the heat. Our bangers and mash are ready to go. Serve them up. You know, the best thing to do is serve it up. Mound of mashed potatoes, bangers on the side, and then pour a bunch of that gravy over the potatoes. Absolutely delicious. Enjoy. Bangers and mash with lashings of onion gravy sauce. Now if you go to the link appearing on the screen, you can download and print this delicious recipe in our booklet entitled Main Dishes on our Patreon feed. So go, print out the recipe, have fun making this delicious dish, and make cooking fun again with Kuma's Kitchen.